ClickUp Brain just launched last week and there's a ton of hype surrounding it. However, I'm sure you're sitting there wondering, is it going to live up to the hype? Is it worth it? Will it make my team more productive? And how can we actually use and leverage ClickUp Brain overall? So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through a quick tour of ClickUp Brain and everything that's included there, going over a few specific use cases and how I leverage and use ClickUp Brain to make myself and my team more productive, and talk about how you should set up your ClickUp workspace to get more out of ClickUp Brain overall. So let's jump into ClickUp here and first go over a quick tour of ClickUp Brain and everything that's included. So as you can see here at the top of my screen, it's not hidden at all. We have the option here to use ClickUp AI. To find ClickUp Brain, all you need to do is click on that and there you go. Ask AI to find or create anything. You'll see three main sections on here as of right now. The first one asking about docs in your workspace based on your role. Next up, asking about your tasks, and then also ideas for writing. So the first one, asking about docs in your workspace based on role. This is kind of cool because I can come here and adjust my role, and that's going to adjust the actual questions and prompts here based on that role. However, I'll be honest, I haven't used and leveraged this that much. A lot of these questions, it's really going to be based off of what you've been working on, based off your role, things like that. And I haven't seen much value in this section so far. I think there's a lot more within ClickUp Brain that's going to provide more value than this first initial section. After that, asking about your tasks. This is pretty cool. I mean, you have the option to say, what am I working on? Hopefully you do know that. What should I work on next? Hopefully you know that as well. What tasks are popular, all the way down to what are my overdue tasks. I think I would prefer to leverage ClickUp Views to get most of this information here. However, it is kind of cool if you want to use and just ask, hey, what should I work on next if you're really not sure? But again, I would have another method of prioritization than just leveraging a lot of this stuff. I always recommend that you have somewhat of a My Task view, or you can use your home view. Again, you just need to have your work in ClickUp with the assignee. As you can see here, I'm showing the work assigned to me. So if it's assigned to me, it's going to show up in this view and I know that I need to do it. I also have due dates on here, time estimates, and I can leverage a priority field if I want to prioritize work that way. You just want to have a good method of that for your team there. But if you wanted to, I could say, hey, what should I work on next? And it's going to tell me based off of my tasks, what's assigned to me, those due dates, priority flags, if there's any comments in there, things like that. It'll pull that information for you to give you a good prioritization of what you should work on next. However, again, I would just do it based off of your task view, home view, whatever you want to call it. The next up is going to be probably the most powerful feature within sort of these main three right here. That's going to be the AI tools. These have been available in ClickUp for quite some time. However, they've continued to add more and more to this in terms of AI tools that are available. I find this most powerful for new users that are just kind of jumping into AI overall. Obviously, there's other tools out there that are very open-ended. I need to craft a good prompt to get a good output from it. However, with this, ClickUp does a lot of that work for you. So if you have a larger team and maybe you have some AI experts on this side of the spectrum and then some over here that maybe aren't as great and are intimidated to start leveraging AI because they feel like they need the perfect prompt, this is a great way to say, hey, what kind of output are you trying to get? I can change this up based off my department. So if I go to marketing here, I have a lot of different tools that I can use. So if I wanted to optimize survey questions, again, I can just put those survey questions in here, tone of voice, creativity, change all of that, and it's going to give me a good output based off of what ClickUp has done for me. So again, all of this, it just basically builds the prompt for you. I just need to fill out this form here with these inputs, and then it's going to give me this customer survey. So great for new team members that are intimidated about crafting the perfect prompt to get a good output from AI, because ClickUp basically does that for you in the back end here. So again, that's super valuable, super powerful for teams that are larger with some that don't use AI near as much and aren't as good with the prompts. In addition, down here at the bottom, you either have your sort of open-ended question that you can ask, or you can do stand-ups and get team updates. These are very powerful, and I love these. The reason being is because a lot of people, they get frustrated inside of project management systems because they feel like whether you're a team lead or you're an agency owner or just an owner of a business, and you get to the point where you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what your team's working on. This is a great way to know what they're doing. Again, you need to have the work inside of ClickUp to understand that. If the work is just in another system, maybe on a whiteboard or something else, ClickUp can't go and pull that information from that whiteboard. You need to get it in ClickUp. But this is going to be very helpful and useful for you to generate some quick team updates. As you can see here, Say I want to just know what my team of myself, Amy, and Alex worked on in the last 7 days. I can go and I can turn that into a bulleted list just like this. I would pair this with ClickUp views. Again, that's the power of ClickUp, is the ability to create views for your teams. Again, you're going to need all the work and tasks in ClickUp, but that's for another video. But once you get all of that, people are working in ClickUp, this becomes a single source of truth here. You're going to get a good summary of what everyone's doing. So this is going to pull sort of the tasks they're working on. This is going to pull, do they switch any due dates? Did they set due dates? Did they adjust any of those? Did they leave some comments, things like that? It's going to pull all that work into one view for you to see that every morning if you want to. But again, have this, but also leverage views to see that work. This is just kind of a great way to get some additional details like this. Overall, a great feature, super powerful for teams, especially for managers that are managing a team of 3 to 5 or however many, if you want to get those team updates just like that. There's a lot more to get into here, but one thing just to take note of, as you can see here, I have this interface here, but as I go to a document, it's actually going to switch that up. As you can see now, as I click into a doc, it's going to be actually asking questions about this specific document as opposed to sort of across our whole workspace. So now if I come in here, you'll see it's prompting me specific questions. It's also, if I wanted to ask a question, it's already has this document in here. That's basically just going to pull data from that specific document. As you can see here, if I switch that up to the knowledge base, the delivery doc, growth doc, that switches that up down here. This is most powerful, not necessarily in a knowledge base, but if you write all of your content inside of a document, so talking blog posts, if you have social media posts, if you have emails, if you do all the rough drafts inside of ClickUp, this is very powerful. And this is probably one of the ways that I use ClickUp AI the most right now, is just when I'm writing blog posts or when I'm writing social media posts. I'm not using it for writing it for me necessarily. I'm just using it to give me additional insights and help overall. So if I were to come here to this specific Paper 101 blog, I can leverage this over here. What I do love to do is I can highlight text just like this, come here to this AI button. I can edit with AI, I can improve my writing, fix spelling and grammar, which is what I use the most. So if you love Grammarly, this is kind of just like that overall. I can make longer, make shorter, simplify. I can also continue writing, which I find super helpful if you hit writer's block for a little bit. You have the option to just take your text and add some additional text from AI, which is cool. But this is probably what I use the most, is fixing spelling and grammar. I just check it after I write something. You can highlight multiple paragraphs. You can highlight a whole page and just get this rewritten for you with better grammar and fixed spelling. I can replace that, insert it, I can copy it, or whatever I want to do. Or I can just tell AI to maybe adjust that a little bit more if I want to. In addition to that, remember, coming back here, this is super helpful because, again, it's going to check this document based off of whatever document I'm in. I can come here and I can do a spell check just like this instead of highlighting text. So I can go ahead and spell check that way. In addition, I have all of these questions. So if I want to get some additional feedback or insights to this document, I can ask it something there. I find it super powerful to ask who is the intended audience. That way I know, hey, did I write this blog well? If I'm targeting a specific audience, hopefully the ClickUp Brain will be able to tell me the exact intended audience that I had specifically for this article. So I can go ahead and ask that just like that, and it'll give me some feedback there as well. As you'll see, a couple other options. How can this doc be made cleaner? What are the key takeaways? So on and so forth. A lot of specific prompts for you, but I can also have this be more open-ended and just ask it whatever I want to. But again, overall, I use AI the most inside of ClickUp Docs. That's why I've kind of gotten out of writing anything anywhere else. I put it all inside of ClickUp because it's very helpful for me to have all of those additional tools to leverage there. You'll be able to find that if I just use ClickUp AI right there. I can pull it back up, or I can always use the main one at the top here. So documents are one of the most powerful features of the ClickUp Brain. In addition, search is very powerful as well. If I build all of my SOPs, put all of my documentation into ClickUp, it makes it way more powerful. So that's what I was saying in terms of how you set up your workspace. The more you get into ClickUp, the more that ClickUp Brain really has to kind of go through and help you out. So the more and more you can get into ClickUp, the better off it's going to be. And so with that, I recommend you put all your standard operating procedures, again, any documentation, any meeting notes I would put into ClickUp as well, because then you can search through those and get some quick feedback as well. One use case here could be If you right now have anyone that looks for a standard operating procedure, looks or asks you a question about something, of how they do something, when they should use something, they ask you maybe in Slack, and then you take some time to answer them. Right now, if I get that all into ClickUp, they can just ask it in ClickUp and they can find the answer themselves rather than having to come to me. So it makes your team more productive, saves those people time for me having to answer that question. So like, let's say an example is maybe when do we use Slack for communication? Like when should we use Slack versus when we should use ClickUp? I can come here and when should we use Slack for communication? Just like that, I can come here and I can ask AI. I could also do it the other way that I had down at the bottom here. But as you'll see, what that does now is it's going to search everything that I have inside of ClickUp, and it's going to find me the answer for me. And it's also going to show me the document where that answer lives. So we'll let this load real quick. And as you'll see, it's going to provide my answer to answer it for me. But in addition, it's also going to show me the sources where it found that information. So if I come here, this is actually the document where our answer lives for our team. So as you can see here, this is in my knowledge base. This is showing when we should or when we should not use Slack, so on and so forth. All of that is in ClickUp, so it's going to give me a good answer. And now someone can find the documentation rather than having to ask someone or spend 20 minutes trying to find it. It's all right there. It makes it way easier. In addition, another use case for this could be if you take all of your client notes inside of ClickUp, just like this, where we have all of this for Dunder Mifflin. If I come here, you'll see I have my client overview. I also have my meeting notes in here. If I were to do the same thing and ask sort of what happened in the last Dunder Mifflin meeting, what happened in the last Dunder Mifflin meeting, just like that. And if I were to go ask AI, it's going to essentially go through that documentation, everything I have inside of ClickUp, and it's going to find me everything there as well. So as you can see, we get the summary of basically everything that happened. It's going to show me sort of all the documentation that I have inside of ClickUp here to find that source for me as well. So great for sort of maybe your head of client services that just needs to find that super quickly. If you keep your ClickUp organized and everything in there, it should make it easy to find that, but you can always leverage AI search to find and pull things out of those documents to make it a little bit quicker for you there as well. So again, the search is super important. The documents, editing things in documents is going to be very helpful. Those AI tools I find super helpful and useful as well. The last thing is going to be sort of the summarizing of projects. So there's a couple ways to leverage this. One of these is actually going to be in a custom field. This is going to be your task summary custom field. So if I wanted to add that, I would go to add a column. You'll see text area right here. Try fill with AI. I have that already listed here. Labeled it summary. As you can see, I have the option. If I go to edit field, I can do a AI progress update, or I can do an AI summary if I wanted to, and I can pull that from last 7 days, last 30 days, whatever it may be. And so what this does for me now is essentially it's going to kind of come through these, and if there were any updates in the last couple of days, it's going to tell me that. So now I have the option to go and show me a summary of everything that's happening across a certain project like this. So I have Meta Campaign, Airbnb, Forest Root Farms. I can pull the summary there, and essentially what that's going to do is it's going to search through all the tasks, search through all the comments within these tasks, and pull that up for me, which this is very powerful for your account managers to not have to go through all of your tasks. It's going to make it very easy for them just to pull a summary of everything that happened across a certain time frame. So very powerful, very helpful. Again, if any dates move or things like that, it's all going to pull up into that as well. One other thing with that, if you put all your communication and everything into the parent task here, I can also get a summary of everything that happened right here as well. So if I don't want to leverage that custom field, I can just do it right here. And this is going to pull everything in this task that happened across the last 30 days, 7 days, day, or whatever it may be. So again, super helpful for people that just need information rather quickly. So rather than having to go ask people or see all of it, if I get this to be my single source of truth and I get everything inside of ClickUp with all these tasks, I can easily pull a summary like that, which is going to be very helpful for account managers, project managers, or whoever is curious. So overall, in terms of the power that I see in ClickUp Brain, most of the power is going to come from you building a single source of truth inside of ClickUp. Get all your tasks in there, have all your communication in there, get all of your documentation in there, get all your meeting notes in there, and it's going to make it way more helpful and powerful for your team overall. Well, hopefully that was a helpful video just to give you a brief overview of ClickUp Brain to see if it's right for you. But if you have any specific questions about ClickUp Brain, or maybe even want us to test something for you to see if it can actually do that, feel free to leave it in the comments below and we'll get right back to you. Happy to help you understand more about ClickUp Brain before you make a decision to see whether or not it's right for your business. But again, hopefully this is a helpful video. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you like this, and we'll see you again next time.